Hi guys, it's Norman from Higher Ground Lifestyle. Today I want to talk about something that I've been doing on the van interior whilst the van's been in getting painted, and that is refurbishing the door cards. So one of the things that really let our van down was damage to the interior door cards, and it's quite a common problem. They're a heavy use area, so they were scratched and they were scuffed and they were really quite seriously discolored. So we've been treating them. I've been using heat to repair the damage, and then I've been using vinyl paint to dye the plastic and to make them look as good as new. And I just want to run through with you the process that we've used for that. And apologies, I'm not looking great at the moment. I'm not sounding great at the moment. I'm still recovering from COVID and I'm feeling a bit rough. But let's have a look at these door cards and we'll show you what we've done. So here you can see the kind of damage that we're talking about on the door cards after we've taken them off the van. What you're looking at there are heavy scratches and damage. The door cards at this point have already been scrubbed, so I just took them out and gave them a good scrub with a scrubbing brush and some washing up liquid. And now what I'm doing is I'm gently applying heat from a hot air gun to the damaged pieces. Now, never let the hot air gun stay still here. It's a very, very careful balancing act between repairing the door card and damaging the door card. So always keep the hot air gun moving and always watch the plastic. Essentially what you're trying to do here is you're effectively melting the damaged area and returning it to the way that it was before the damage occurred. So all the little rough bits, the bits that come out and they get caught, basically they're melting back into shape. And you can see as we're applying heat here, even to these heavily damaged areas on the bottom corner of this door where damage is most likely to occur, you can see as we do it very, very carefully, the damage is disappearing, and it really is quite a magical process. But it's very easy to get carried away. It's very easy to concentrate too much on one spot, especially where you're working on a heavy area of damage. And if you do that in a split second, you will go from repairing the door to putting a really, really big hole in it. Or what actually normally happens is you get a big bit that bubbles up and it just looks absolutely dreadful. So very, very careful, spreading the heat over the damaged area very carefully. And you can see here the inroads that we're making on the door. And this was a very heavily damaged door. Here we're continuing the repair up the front edge of the door where the damage is considerably less, and you can see as a result of that it really only takes seconds to get rid of those scratches and those marks in the door. You shouldn't be tempted to try and overdo it at this stage. You're trying to effect a reasonable repair. It will never be perfect, but it will be almost invisible. But don't overdo it. You'll make a mess of it and you'll melt your door cards. Now moving on to the top of the door, and if anything you need to be even more careful on the black plastic. It just seems to be more susceptible to the heat, and in particular around the door handles. I've overdone the area on this handle here before, so just be very careful with that and gently apply the heat. Same principles apply. Now if your doors are only lightly damaged, it is possible to do that heat treatment carefully and to effect repairs. My doors were really quite badly damaged across their whole surface area, so I applied heat several times to make sure that the damage was repaired, and then knowing that I was going to have to recolour the doors, I gently sanded them with some very light wet and dry just to remove any final raised sections. What I then did was to degrease the doors with a degreasing agent and prepare them ready for painting. The most involved job in getting the doors ready for painting was masking off the black area at the top. But I did this because I wanted to maintain the colour differential between the grey on the bottom and the black on the top. The easiest way I found to do this was to put a line of masking tape right across the line and then carefully trim it back with a scalpel, because what you're actually doing is you're trimming in a line between two separate vinyl panels that are plastic welded together. So I just ran a fresh scalpel along that line very carefully and then used the sharp end of a plastic trim tool to push the masking tape into the slot, and as a result of that I got a beautiful clean masked line, and I maintained that colour differential between the grey and the black on the top.
This is the product that we've used to spray the doors. It comes from Halfords, pretty readily available, although the problem that we had is none of the local stores in Scotland stored any more than one single can. It took us 4 cans to complete the job, and we literally had to get them in 4 different places. So my doors have been resprayed with a can of Halfords flexible vinyl paint in light grey, one that came from Perth, one that came from Dundee, one that came from Dunfermline, and one that came from Kirkcaldy, and I think we also got a spare that came from Edinburgh. So that's the biggest problem that we've had. The colour is slightly different in that it's slightly darker than the colour on the original panel, but I tested that already and I like the colour, and I've also done the base of my B pillars in it and I think it looks really good, and it also ties in with the C-line sockets and things that I'm using in the van. So really impressed with that. Halfords flexible vinyl paint. Cost me £5 a tin, and as I say, I think we've used a total of 4 tins on the whole job.
The paint is just applied the same as any other paint, so 2 or 3 light coats. I gave it a total of 3 light coats, and it actually effectively works as a plastic dye, so it doesn't take away any of the embossing or the patternation on the plastic, but it presents a very light coat of dye that actually impregnates the surface of the plastic and changes its colour at a molecular level, so the finish is really good. And you can see what the doors look like when you take the masking off them. Really impressed with the finish, and I'm very happy with the way that it's come out. I have not on these doors yet recoloured the black, and it's not my intention to recolour the black because the black's actually in pretty good shape at the moment, and I don't want to change the colour of the black because I still want that to tie in with my dashboard colour, which I have no intention of spraying at all. It doesn't need it.
This is the heavily damaged area that we were showing you us repairing at the start, and as you can see, even in close-up, the repair is almost indistinguishable from the rest of the door card. So another good job, well done, really happy with the way those have turned out.
There you go. That's how I've rejuvenated and refurbished the door cards on my VW T5 T6 camper van conversion. I would strongly encourage you to give it a go. It's probably saved me a lot of money. The total cost of the job has been around £20, and I think that's money that's been very well spent. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please have a look at some of our other videos. Please also like and subscribe to our channel. That would be fantastic if you could find your time to do that. And please guys, stay safe.